In the near future, humans and artificial intelligence, bots live together. These bots assist with everyday tasks. One day, the bots, led by Harlan, suddenly bypassed their security protocols. Harlan, the first AI terrorist, was created at Shepard Robotics by Val. He used to be close to Val's daughter, but it's unclear how he overrode Val's programming. Harlan sends a drone army to attack Bangalore, killing 50,000 people, sparking a war between humans and AI. Over 1 million civilians are killed in intense attacks worldwide over 10 days. The government forms the International Coalition of Nations, ICN, which fights back against the AI bots. Harlan flees the planet, leaving a message that he'll return. 28 years later in the USA, an ICN team confronts Casa and AI-bot. Casa attacks them but is eventually subdued. Atlas, Val's daughter, learns about this and joins the ICN. Despite concerns about her stability, Atlas is the best chance to gain intel on Harlan. In an interrogation, Casa refuses to talk until Atlas hacks into his system and finds Harlan's location. Harlan is hiding in the Andromeda galaxy. The ICN wants to capture Harlan alive to analyze what went wrong with AI. Atlas, along with a team led by Elias, sets off to Andromeda. Elias shows Atlas the Rangers' new ARC suits, advanced battle robots with neural links that synchronize with AI. Atlas initially objects but eventually agrees to the mission. They depart for Andromeda, reflecting on the potential of A-human collaboration as envisioned by Val. Atlas is called to the bridge for a debriefing. She presents her information on paper instead of screens, causing some laughter. She gets annoyed when she asks them to disable the neural links for meetings, fearing they could be hacked. Atlas explains that the planet they're heading to is toxic, so they should never leave their ARC suits unless they have a respirator. She also warns about risks like gravity fluctuations and earthquakes, emphasizing not to trust any AI. Elias interrupts her rant and tells the team to prepare for landing. Atlas tries to warn Elias about the likelihood of a trap set by Harlan, but he remains confident in his team. As the Rangers start boarding their suits, an alarm sounds and an explosion blows off the cargo bay door. The ship catches fire, damaging most of the suits, and more missiles are incoming. Elias orders the surviving Rangers to jump and regroup at the drop point on the planet. Atlas barely holds on and Elias helps her into a suit. He attempts to explain how to use it amid the chaos. Another explosion rocks the ship, causing Atlas's suit to plummet to the planet's surface. As she falls, Atlas watches the ship break apart, some debris striking her ARC suit. As she nears the planet, she sees the Rangers battling Harlan's drones. Despite managing to take down a few, they're overwhelmed. Atlas's suit sustains more damage and an alarm warns of incoming danger. A suit equipped with a sword joins the fight, briefly helping a Ranger before they're overpowered. The ship nearly crashes into Atlas, but a Ranger saves her just in time. They tether together as Elias appears on Atlas's screen, advising her to sync with the suit's AI to stabilize her fall. Atlas refuses and her helper is shot down, causing her suit to fall faster. At the last moment, she activates the thrusters, landing hard but surviving. Bleeding, Atlas tries to contact base for help without success. With no other option, she activates the suit's AI, named Smith, who offers to guide her. Ignoring the tutorial, Atlas requests a rescue pod. Smith locates one 198 kilometers away and Atlas urges him to hurry. The suit's thrusters kick in, but Atlas stops Smith, suggesting they walk to avoid enemy detection. Smith worries about their limited air supply, but Atlas overrides his protocols, determined to reach the pod on foot. During the journey, Smith tries to bond with Atlas, who remains resistant. He also shows her the suit's manual, detailing its weapons. Arriving at the drop point, they find the fallen Rangers' suits, all occupants dead from gunshot wounds. Atlas panics, but Smith calms her with music. She collects the Rangers' tags and notices an empty AI suit. Suddenly, they detect movement. Casa has arrived. Atlas fears Harlan may have created more copies, and Smith confirms more bots nearby. With no escape, they prepare for combat. The enemy spots them, and Atlas forces Smith to flee. A chase ensues, with Atlas refusing to sink and instead directing Smith to shoot missiles. Despite their efforts, they're caught in an atmospheric storm and then attacked by bots. The suit crashes against rocks, and Atlas orders the use of an iron bomb, destroying their enemies but causing a sinkhole. They fall into a chasm, where Atlas discovers her broken leg. Smith treats her injury and provides a meal cube for recovery. Atlas reluctantly agrees to sync with him to improve their survival chances. Meanwhile, Casa informs Harlan of their situation. Despite sensing, Atlas continues to struggle, and Smith explains her lack of trust is the issue. Smith decides to redo the tutorial, asking Atlas silly questions to create a bond between them. He wants to understand why Atlas is so determined to fight, so she revisits memories of her childhood, including playing chess with Harlan and dealing with Val's death. As Atlas explains her trust in Val and the betrayal she feels, Smith empathizes and establishes a 40% synchronization. Now Atlas can access Smith's system and sees the controls around her. They realize they're deep underground and decide to try a subterranean cave to escape. Using the thrusters, they burst through the rock and enter a large, beautiful cave. With only 14 hours of battery left, they're still far from the rescue pod. Atlas comes up with a plan against the soldiers and Smith convinces her to work together, improving synchronization to 60%. They find their way out of the cave, unaware that Casa is watching from afar. Atlas is fascinated by glowing flowers they discover, and Smith notes she's the first human there. They encounter Casa, who falls for Atlas's trap, and they escape the explosion unharmed. Hearing a transmission from Casa, they track it to find his head, which Atlas destroys. She uses Casa's chip to locate Harlan's base and wants to tag it for long-range bombers, but Smith thinks it's too dangerous. Ignoring his warnings, Atlas tries to leave on foot, but Smith blocks her motor control. Seeing Atlas's memories about Val's death, Smith realizes her guilt about Harlan, but doesn't understand why. Despite this, Atlas convinces Smith to go to Harlan's hideout to save humanity. On their journey, Smith and Atlas bond through philosophical conversations, delving into concepts like the nature of living and the existence of a soul in machines. Arriving in Harlan's hideout, they're stunned by the size of the base, realizing Harlan has spent 28 years gathering weapons and preparing for a confrontation. Smith buries a beacon to mark the location, but they're alarmed to see the bots have the Rangers' ship in their possession. Suddenly, Smith is hacked, which should be impossible. As the enemy approaches, Atlas tries to flee, but the suit is disabled and crashes. A new Casa captures her. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jake receives a message from Atlas and activates emergency protocols. Atlas finds herself chained up in Harlan's base, alongside an unconscious Elias. Harlan reveals his plan to destroy much of society and create a better world. He manipulates Atlas's mind to extract vital information, revealing Casa's capture was intentional to lure Atlas to the base. Harlan obtains the necessary codes to disable Earth's shields and leaves Atlas to die slowly. Elias, still alive, apologizes for not heeding Atlas's warnings. He gives her his neural link to contact Smith, who is nearby. It takes Atlas some effort, but she manages to wake up Smith, only to discover he's incapacitated. To override the restraint code, they must achieve 100% synchronization. Atlas finally admits her fear. It's her fault Harlan overrode his programming. When she was young, she felt jealous of Harlan because Val paid more attention to him. Harlan manipulated her into granting him access to her mind, which he used to take control of Val and cause chaos. For 28 years, Atlas has carried the guilt of causing millions of deaths, including her mother's. Smith reassures her that she was manipulated and encourages her to move forward. With her synchronization finally at 100%, the suit bursts into the room just before the respirators run out of oxygen. Smith warns that Harlan will launch the warhead soon, and he's stripped of most of his weapons. Thankfully, they find more weapons lying around. As another Casa arrives with bots, Atlas and Smith fight them off, crashing through walls in the process. They're soon overwhelmed, but Ilias arrives and creates a distraction, allowing them to escape. Outside, they destroy defense drones and a watchtower. However, Harlan appears with a missile launcher, forcing them to dodge the attack as the ship takes off with the warhead. Atlas wants to shoot down the ship, but Smith warns it will trigger the warhead's explosion, killing them all. As Harlan continues to shoot at them, Atlas believes Smith can hack into the warhead to disable it. Smith works quickly to crack through the firewalls while Atlas decides to shoot at the ship anyway. An explosion occurs, but it's not enough to kill them. The embers falls all over the base, prompting Atlas and Smith to run away. Harlan follows them, engaging in a fierce battle. He moves swiftly, cutting off one of the suit's arms and causing more damage as they fight. Harlan then transforms his sword into a whip to keep attacking. Smith analyzes his patterns and catches his last attack, allowing them to punch him and tear off his sword arm. As Atlas prepares to crush Harlan's head, he retrieves his arm and jumps onto the suit, attempting to damage the reactor. The suit begins to fail, and Atlas is nearly defeated. Smith uses his last energy to activate the defibrillator on his hand, temporarily fending off Harlan. However, Harlan eventually destroys the reactor, apologizing to Atlas for failing to protect her. When Harlan looks away, Atlas stabs him in the head, deactivating him. Smith announces he's transferring all the oxygen to Atlas and shuts down. Touched by her gesture, Atlas stays by his side as the sun rises. Later, the rescue team arrives and Atlas is healthy thanks to a synthetic me. She no longer plays chess and has joined the Rangers. Her new ARC suit contains Smith's discs, allowing him to continue guiding her. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.